Let's go to our next one. So this is a sales sequence. Our second submission of the day is a tech company from the UK. They make competitive intel and data collection easy with an outsourced web scraping service. So this particular sales sequence is in the prospecting stage, and it's a 5-touch sequence to get new customers. So let's start by this. So this is email 1, so step 1 of the sequence. Looking to get web data easily. Take a look there, Andrew, and have at her.
Yeah. So first thing, shorter than the last one, right? This is good here. So I'm not scared when I read this and I'm like, oh my gosh, I have to read a whole ebook to like understand what's going on here. Let's see. First line, just saying no one cares who you are. No one cares who you are. Like, if that worked, I'd have my CEO send all my emails so we can build pipeline, right? And
right.
We tried something like that. It doesn't work. So, yeah, no one cares who you are. So I'd eliminate the whole first paragraph. Oh, this kills me. This kills me. And I love this. Whoever this company is, y'all are awesome. And again, be testing. I'm just initial reactions here. Always be testing is always my answer, right? So take what I say with a grain of salt. But when people say came across my radar on LinkedIn, you know how many other people can say that on LinkedIn? Every single person on LinkedIn.
Right.
So not it's just fluff, right? Get to the point. And I always relate it back to advertisements because that's the ultimate. Like they've got it down to a science, literally, in how people, the good company's doing it well. And they don't say, "Hey, I came across your Facebook profile, and here's an ad," right? So, like, why would you do that in an email? Don't do it. I would love to help company produce better research and analytics with the RevUp Sequence service, taking away challenges from web scraping team. I can't get a picture here of what we're doing, right? Like I can't picture what's like, it's web scraping, like how I think
like it kind of assumes that the prospect knows what web scraping is, right? And that they want it.
Yeah. And maybe they're sending it to someone that is an expert in web scraping. I don't know. So again, that depends on the persona they're reaching out to, right? But what I do like is, they did try and explain what they do. That's great. I think before what we do, like, again, building curiosity. Did you know that, web scraping tools today actually decrease cost by 50% because it's all terrible data, right? Something like that. We help solve that. Here's what we do. Boom. Maybe a nice little image of before and after, right? So we're starting to see a lot of imagery come into the sequence as well. You'll hear a lot of video stuff as well. Video is becoming popular. So imagery as well, like being able to picture it is what you do. That's something I would add here. Again, can we schedule a 10 minutes call to share our service? It's still a big ask. Like, I don't know what you do. Now you're asking me for 10 minutes. So
I have to admit the one thing there though, Andrew, is that most people ask for the 30-minute or the hour-long or like a long call. I do like that they're only asking for 10 minutes.
Yeah, I will give them that. They like 10 minutes. I will give them that. But then when you actually get the calendar invite, it's 45. So, whatever. Don't do that either. So, I do like the fact that they brought it down. But here, and I think something that we've been doing, right, is offering like workflow assessments, right? Like, again, 10 minutes is all about me. I want you to talk with me, right? Like me. Whereas offer something of value to get them like, okay, this person's cool. They're trying to help me, right? Simple as that. Like, hey, why don't I show you how we've helped other companies in the past? Let me know if you'd be interested, right? And here's the results they got when we helped them. Boom. Cool. Might be interested. So that's something I would do there. One thing that's they did include their Calendly link. Super cool. Makes it easy to book your calendar. Outreach has that cool calendaring feature you can use, which is great too. So that if I were to book something, it would be super easy to book. I love that. Great job to this UK company. one thing that Dave Gerhardt, who's the CMO of Privy, he's, ultimate marketer guru, is adding PS lines and even just sharing relevant information or like something super useful and going for the hard ask in the PS line,
Right.
or a subtle ask like, hey, yada yada, like here's some cool valuable things. We've helped these people by X, Y, and Z. Let me know if you'd be interested. Regards, Jeff Swan. Hey, PS, I'm doing this cool webinar thing. If you're looking to get in a webinar, or if you're looking to buy a sequence or a sequencing platform or sales engagement platform, feel free to check this out.
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. And so I think too here is we're very direct in our asks, and where the creativity I'm seeing is coming in is thinking of a long-term, how to get a long-term yes. We're all so much like, give us whatever we're asking for now, like Uber for whatever we want, right? Like
Right.
press a button and we get it now. Whereas I think we're going to start seeing more loops around how to get a yes, right? And when I mean loops of like in my PS lines, I say, hey, come to this webinar. I'm able to measure what's going on from the webinar in the PS line. And I know it came from that PS line, measuring how many people signed up there. Then in the webinar, you say, hey, at the end of this webinar, Jeff, you're going to say, hey, you guys need help on your sequences? I can help, right? That's what I do.
Yeah.
So and going for that long-term investment of yes, right? And measuring the best channels to do that and create that loop of getting that yes, right? I haven't coined the term for that yet, and I'll be able to articulate that once I think about it a little
Well,
more.
it's I've used to kind of describe that concept. I've kind of
Mm-hmm.
used the idea of the breadcrumbs of like, you're giving a breadcrumb, you're leading somebody to a yes, but you're not necessarily giving them the whole loaf and saying eat.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, because I mean, at the end of the day, sometimes like when I'm reaching out to with my SDRs and we're executives, I'm also like, hey, like let's meet now, and then I'm like, no, like if they want to meet with you, if you pique their curiosity, they're gonna ask you to meet. They're
Yeah.
gonna ask you to send more things over.
Yeah.
Right? Like they will ask you, and they have the power to ask you. I think we forget that like people know how to ask themselves to say, hey, this is cool. Like send me more information. Um, right? So I think, yeah, there should be a friction call to action, but also again, hence low friction, keeping it super low friction.
Oh, good point, man.
Yeah.
I'm seeing this. As I've had my career, I've kind of straddled sales and marketing my whole career. So I've been kind of seeing the difference in the way sales approaches sequences versus marketing. And marketing is all about the long play of like, add a bit of content, add a bit of value, teach something, and kind of go. And sales has always been about that. You want to buy from now,
Mm-hmm.
right? And
Yeah.
now you're seeing the evolution of sales being closer to this way and the evolution of marketing being closer to this way, where we're getting more actionable stuff from marketing and we're getting more value driven stuff from sales. So we're kind of just getting into that perfect world where suddenly things are actually becoming relevant, timely, value, and at your pace, which is pretty amazing if you ask me.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Yeah. We're talking sequences now, but I can go into my whole theory on where like sales professionals are going
Yeah.
today, and what like, it's crazy the number of like, in my opinion, like the account executives today need to also be great marketers. And by great marketers, that number one skill that they need to have as a marketer is copywriting. Again, so I feel very strongly about that in the sense that like, think of like B2C marketing, right? Like when you buy something off of Instagram, you've probably bought it because some person you're following used the product before.
Right.
You know, I know, I'm a sucker for those ads, right? I follow some people and I've done that before, and I'm like, well, this person it must be cool.
Yeah.
So I think we're heading more in that way towards B2C too, or B2B. That's why you see all these people building their personal brands, right? Putting content out there.
Yeah.
Right. And like,
Yeah.
understanding that people, again, just like in B2C, they're buying from people, right? And so we're going to start to see sales organizations, they're going to start to hire people with these followings, right? Like
Right.
if you don't have a following, that's going to be, you're ahead of everyone if you have the following, because it's not easy to do.
Mm-hmm.
It takes a lot of work, and you have a large voice, right? Where it's on LinkedIn. You guys have all probably seen blue-haired Sam Nelson on LinkedIn famous, right? Outreach folk. A few other people at LinkedIn that have a pretty big audience there. Scott himself.
Got just past
Right. So like,
25,000 followers.
yeah,
Big
like
milestone.
exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I have like 15 or something, and I've been posting for like 2 years, right? And like, it's crazy. It's so much work, but it's, at the end of the day, it's worth it, right?
Yeah.
In my opinion, because you start to be able to have more control over your future, in my opinion, right?
Totally.
Like, you have, I think what we'll start to see is you can leverage that in getting an organization, because you have that voice, because you have a higher reach, right? Because things are moving more towards these soft approaches, these nurturing approaches, these breadcrumb approaches, where if I'm posting on LinkedIn, I'm just leaving a little breadcrumbs to all the people that are, in my network that I'm selling to.
Yeah.
So a little off topic there. I know we're talking content and copywriting today, but
All good.
we
All
can do
good.
something else on that.
So Andrew, we have
Yeah.
five messages. So why don't we, because we're running short on time now, why
Yeah,
don't
let's
we
do it.
do one thing that you like about this and one thing that you would change?
100%. One thing I like, it's short. It does make it easy for me to book, right? Don't make me think. If it's easy, it's a call out. It's making me easy to book if I were to do so. The subject line is actually pretty good, I think. Looking to get web data easily. If I knew what that was and it's on the right persona for it, sure. If you're targeting you, maybe, or myself, maybe I'm be like, what, like archive, right?
Yeah.
Go ahead. Shout out to all the inbox zero people out there, but yeah, archive automatically. So that's what I do like. And some other things, there is on 2 areas for the Calendly link. Um, some people like that, some people don't. I think it's easy to make it known that, like, hey, you can book here or you can book here after seeing my title. So
Right.
again, making it easy. That's what I do like. Something I don't like, again, just the first paragraph. Like, you don't need to say you're the co-founder. That's in your signature.
Right.
Like, one cool concept that I had, like, that I really like when I'm writing stuff, is I like to just get everything out and then go back and imagine that every word costs $1. Right? So
Oh
like,
man.
if I don't need it, like that first paragraph, I just, I'm saving myself some money. I can invest it in Salesforce, which just went up 25% today. So for those of you who invest in Salesforce, awesome
Oof.
day on that one. So yeah, exactly. I mean, there we go.
So
That's
you
all I got
got,
to say.
all right. All right. So what I like is it's to the point. So you said it's short. I like that
Yeah.
it's to the point. He doesn't beat around the bush. It just gets right to the point, which is awesome. I'm not a big fan of the jargon. I don't like assuming that this is a customer who understands every single one of these words is cool, but there's going to be people that you're trying to get in touch with that they're not going to understand all of the words, and it's easier to just keep it simple than to do something like that. I also would, just as a side note, I know this is a tactic that some people use, but I would really consider punctuation, grammar, that kind of stuff, where you're not trying to look like you're not trying at all to get to impress them. There's some different approaches there, but like I really would like to see some proper punctuation and that, because there are definitely a large portion of customers that just aren't gonna like that.
Yeah, absolutely. 100%. Yep. Sure.
Okay, so next one. So we're gonna go real quick through this one. So first thing, take a second, Andrew, read it, and one thing you like and one thing you'd change about these guys.
Hope you're doing well. Just eliminate that. Again, use the dollar rule. Each word costs $1 once you click send. Want to follow up on. Again, this is just something I'll start with something I do like. Short and sweet, right? Cool,
Yep.
not a whole paragraph. Something I don't like is that whole email can probably be put into one sentence. Hey, I sent you that last email. I spent some time personalizing it to figure out what I thought was relevant. In addition to what I said above, I have 2 more ideas around XYZ that I'd like to share with you. Let me know if you're open to it. I spoke with a VP at X company some time ago, and they thought it was interesting. Boom. Cool. Yeah.
One email.
So I think you could just break that down into like 1 or 2 sentences. Again, no hard ass. Please, like adding please, can you let me know? It just sounds desperate too, right? So that sounds desperate. I'd remove that. Now let's do step 3, day 3, connect on LinkedIn. Hi, it's put a face to the email. Oh no, like first line gone. Second line gone. Third line, ask for 15 minutes. I like that you didn't say 30, but no. Here on LinkedIn, on the connect phase, I would do something, again, relevant. Hey, you have some ideas? Maybe say, hey, I have 2 ideas for you. Specifically, one is where, which I heard from, looking forward to connecting. Or leverage other people's names. Hey, we spoke with Jeff Swan in the past,
right.
Hoping maybe we can do so in the future as well. Winky face, something like that. Short, sweet, and simple. Sometimes I think Jake Dunlap, don't quote me on this, but he actually did some testing around this. Again, always be testing. Yeah. Where his like acceptance rate was higher when he did not send a note at all. He just hit connect, right?
Yep.
Versus including a note on like the connect on LinkedIn. So again, he has CEO in his title, a little bit different. That's why you have to test. But I always, if I see your title and I'm like, oh, okay, a seller, I'm just going to accept you. Right? Like, cool. Like you're in my industry, whatever, like, let's do it. Yeah. But if you are a seller and then you actually try and pitch me in there, I'm going to click X right away.
Yeah.
Right. Cause everyone knows they're not supposed to do that. They're just doing it because they're lazy. So, and it's actually you could be even lazier by not saying anything and probably have a higher odds, in my opinion. Again, that's anecdotally. So
it's true because you don't have a chance to screw up.
Yeah, exactly. You don't have a chance to screw up. I can't judge you, right? I can't judge you. Like on that first second, being like, okay, where if it just said sales, I'm like, oh, I'm in sales. Cool. Let me add you. And I think people are more opening up today for like LinkedIn requests from what I've seen in our data of just being more accepting to like accepting LinkedIn requests, right? Except when you're getting sold. So if you just connect, great. It's like a follower, right? So I think there's still some sticklers out there that are like, I got this request and I don't know you. I'd like to actually meet you in person for 3 hours before we connect, right? And it's like, okay, well, we don't need, if you're like that, we don't need to be friends anyway. So
love it.
Sorry.
Love it. No, for sure. Well, the bottom line is that when you're looking at LinkedIn, either be completely entirely relevant, that word again, right? Or just don't do a note at all.
Yeah,
is what I'm getting from
exactly. And Paige, what's up, Paige? So yes, Morgan Egram has done testing and said he has a higher acceptance rate once blind connection rather than personalized message. Exactly, right? That is the one area, that is the one pass we all get to be lazy.
Well, hey, we all have our phones, and we know that on LinkedIn you can just click, oh, you added Andrew as your connection, add this person too. Click. Everybody knows it. So it doesn't even come across as lazy anymore.
Yeah, exactly. And Paige says maybe because it builds more curiosity. I think so, right? Like it's like a follower, right? That's how people see it. And a lot of leaders are starting to get on using their LinkedIn profiles as a marketing mechanism, which they should, because it's like the amount of reach you get on posting on LinkedIn is crazy, right? So in that they are starting to realize they should just add everyone. Right. So anyways, should we move on, Jeff? What do you think? I want to make sure we have enough time here to review everything.
Yeah. So I'm just going to give a quick brief thing on this one, and then I'm going to I'm going to wrap up this sequence for us. One thing I do like about this, if I'm just going to choose one thing, because you covered a lot of really good stuff, I'm going to say that I really like the get at her here, is that they're going day 3 and they're doing the double touch. I'd like to see a phone touch in here, but we don't have that. But I like that they're following up in a couple of days. They're not letting it go cold. They're keeping top of mind, which I really enjoy. I dislike the idea that we're just kind of ignoring the what's in it for me. So again, it's about the person. Andrew, you had some great ideas to think about. There is like, how can you pique that curiosity? What can you give as part of value, and really make it about them, right? So that's that. What I'm going to do now is, why don't we say, if we had like key takeaways for 3 things for this entire sequence. You've seen a couple emails and some touches. Andrew, what would you say are like 3 things that you'd say about this sequence to make it better?
These steps here, the sequence overall.
The sequence overall.
Oh, the sequence overall. Look, y'all, I'm going to go back to this. Always be testing your templates. Every single email you should be testing. Outreach makes it easy. Other sales engagement platforms make it easy. Outreach makes it the easiest. Shameless plug, right? But yeah, always be testing your templates. That's the biggest piece I have, and because what I say is anecdotal sometimes, and just based on lots of experience with sequences and sales organizations, and working with them on this stuff. But overall, always be testing. Secondly, on this, more creative, right? Like I didn't see one creative thing in here. And it's obviously easier said than done, but creative is big. The number one thing you hear, again, using advertising as a framework to be like, is this going to catch attention? Because today it's a battle of attention, right? Like our sequence email sometimes can be ads, right? Like, because if you guys want to see something interesting, go look at a VP at your company and ask them if you can look at their inbox at 8 in the morning when they walk in the office, and at 5 p.m. after they've been in meetings all day. Just go and do that. That's the exercise I do with my SDRs, and I tell them to do. Manny will show you. Go look at his inbox, right? And look at that. And then you tell me when you send an email whether he's going to open that or not. Right?
Yeah.
Think of that. All right. When you send this, imagine your VPs and maybe just have your CEO send a screenshot and blur anything out that's confidential, obviously, and send it around the SDR to be like, this is what I got today. Like, we need to figure out how to stand out. And it comes back to capturing attention. That has to do, I think, with creativity. That's the biggest thing. So, if I were to hire someone today, if I was a sales leader starting a new organization, I was to hire someone on my sales team, the first hire I would make is a creative copywriter to help create my sequences. That's exactly what I do. And that can create great content, right? That's creative, that stands out, related to our product. And it can include video scripts, it can include imagery, it can include gathering relevant data at scale. If you've seen heard of there's an consulting agencies that my friends run, around building applications to find relevant information to plug in the sequences. They're called dog patch advisors. They've done some work with Drift.
Love the name.
They've done some work with Drift. They've done some work with Stripe. They've done some work with big companies, and they've essentially built out their engineers that love sales, similar to me, in that way, and they've built out applications to help use data science to find relevant information to plug in automatically to email templates. And huge help, right? And like they're doing a lot of the relevancy work using code, right? Which is crazy, which is fun, which I wish every company would do that. And we may be doing something here or there at Outreach for that too, but I won't talk too much about that yet. So very cool. Yeah. and again, forgot where I was going with this, but creatives, again, testing,
Creativity.
Creativity. Don't be scared to stand out. Guess what? If no one else is doing it, that's great, because that means you have a higher chance of standing out. Once people start to do something and catch on, then it's no longer unique, right? So I always tell my SEOs, don't wait for someone to give you permission. Obviously, keep it PG. Don't send something stupid. But, be different. Stand out. And then Paige said, Todd Capone showed his inbox in an event and the amount of hope you're doing well and wanted to in unprecedented times, blah, 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 and too many I first, and it's not good. You're right. We need to do better to stand out. Exactly, Paige. 100%. We're on the same page. I'm sure you've heard that pun before.
Well done, Andrew. Well done. I'm gonna agree with you, Andrew. I really like the idea of the creativity. That's something that it's hard to even teach somebody creativity, but if you just think about it, there's exercise you can do to actually inspire that in your head, that kind of thing. But regardless, it's being creative about the touch. I love it. Another couple things that I'd like to point out as well for this sequence specifically is I would like to exercise or showcase the expertise of the person sending the email. So if they're trying to talk about how to make it easy to scrape web, to get data from the web, I want to understand what the person talking to me is going to offer that I don't have already by a Google search, right? Like I want to see that they're giving me some value. They're adding value at each touch point. They're showing me expertise that I want to talk to them specifically, rather than maybe just try a different tool. And on the second note, I would like to say that I'd really like, even though what I just said was talk about showcasing your expertise, I'd also like to make the customer the star. So make them the star. What's in it for them, and really flip the whole thing here. Not around your outsourced services, but getting data and why it's such a challenge for you and what we can do to make it better.
Yeah, absolutely. So are you asking me that question, what we can do to make it better on the data side?
No.
Oh, okay. Got it.
Sorry, it might have been confusing.
Sorry. Yeah, no. I spaced out there for a second. So all good. But yeah, obviously getting the data is huge. The creativity is huge.